Hello, Team Nutrition. I am Dr. Denise Russo, and this is a video overview on using contract grading rubric. I use contract grading as of 2023, and so it evolves and changes over time. So you might find some of the numbers in the rubric or categories change, but the overall premise of contract grading remains the same. It's important to note that if you're taking courses of different durations in particular, the number of discussions required will be different. And over time, that could be true in other categories, or point values could change. So this should give you a general idea of how this works. Let's go ahead and get started. I have 4 scenarios for you that I want to cover. Let's make this a little smaller and focus on those. And I'm going to demonstrate them to you on fictitious students in the grade book. Whoops, let's go make these out. Should have paused, but I'm not going to. I'm not even going to tell you what attempt number this is to get this correct for you. Okay, now I lost my fictitious students. Here we go. We're going to start with student A, student 1, and their goal is their plan. Student 1 and also student 2, they're both good test takers, and so they prefer to skip some of the more time-consuming review and practical application work and focus on the demonstrating that they've learned about nutrition through the exams. So student 1 doesn't enjoy active learning or practical application, and that comes in the form of discussions in our course. And so they are going to opt out of some of that work. So let's see what student 1 has done. They've set a grade goal, by the way, of A. So that means they are, is the screen sharing? Yep, I am. Okay, sorry. I can't see the screen sharing. It says I'm sharing. They set the category of an A. So that means they're working here. And they have already said that they don't like practical application. So they are actually going to skip this category completely, which is not an option for in-person students, but for everyone else, online learners. And they are going to replace this category by doing all 4 items in the connect category. So we see that here, that they have done all of the self-assessment that was assigned, and that's an A level. They skipped the discussions pretty much. They did 1 and didn't do any of the others. They decided after the first one, nope, not doing any more. They did all of the assignment work. There are 2 assignments in my classes pretty consistently for as long as I can remember, and they are each worth 20% of the grade. So this student did both, all of them at full credit. They earned A level on exam 1, A level on exam 2. They earned the A level, even though these both look like Bs, they earned A level on both the Learn Smarts and the checks because they earned more than 68 points. But I offer 80 and grade you on how you did out of 75. Basically, I'm giving you the opportunity to skip one without any negative impact on your grade. And so based on that, they met the category. They met the criteria for A for everything, even though they skipped the discussions because they did all 4 of the categories here. So their final grade in the course is an A, and the Canvas grade book shows them that they have a B. So this is one example of how the Canvas grade book percentage is incorrect, and you are encouraged to ignore it. Okay, option 2, this student doesn't enjoy assignments that review the chapter comments. They don't like the Learn Smarts and the checks. And so they are going to opt out of the Learn Smarts and the checks. They are not going to do these 2 things. They're going to skip those. They're going to let their grade rely on exam 1 and exam 2 and the discussions. And then, of course, everything over here. And this student also sent a grade goal of A. So they did all of the self-assessment work. They did 90% at least of the discussion work. That meant that they skipped a discussion in a particularly busy week, or perhaps they earned partial credit on 2 2 different weeks that were busy. They did all of the assignment work, because again, each assignment's 20% of the grade, and they wanted an A, so they had to do all of the assignment work. They earned A score on exam 1. This rounded up, so they just met the A, the 68 mark. They did a little better on exam 2. They didn't want to be so close, because they knew if they got 67 points, they'd get a B in the course. They basically tried the Learn Smart. They did one Learn Smart, couple checks, and said, I don't want to do those. I'm going to do the discussions instead and the exams, and base my score on that. And they earned an A in the course, even though the Canvas gradebook, of course, says they have an F because they didn't do these items. Okay, let's go to my next student. My next student, student 3, they don't like exams, and they can make the time to do all of the work and the practical application work. So they did their self-assessment. They did and their grade goal is a B. So they did they skipped a self-assessment because they didn't need to do all of them for an A. They actually did A work on the discussion. I don't know, were enjoying them, and they did one before they remembered they could skip 2 to still be at a B. They did all of the work for the assignments because they were nervous if they skipped one, they might not get full credit. So they could have earned partial credit on one of those assignments, but they did everything. They didn't take the exams because they don't like exams. They bring a tremendous amount of stress and anxiety. They don't feel that they ever learned to be an excellent exam taker, and so they opted out. They really liked the Learn Smart. So even though their grade goal wasn't an A, they did A work on the Learn Smart because it helped them really understand what they were reading. And then when it came to the checks, their grade goal was a B. So they decided that they didn't want to spend time going back and retaking checks to get to the A level. They were happy with the B. And so based on the work that they've done here, they earned a B, even though they earned A in these other categories. They were B in this category. And it contradicts what the grade book says, because it almost always does. The grade book is not a reliable source of your actual percentage, what your grade will be. Let's do one more. Student 4 doesn't enjoy that lower level, easy but time consuming or low hanging fruit work known as Learn Smarts. And they don't love exams, but they're confident that over the course of the term, they can do well in at least one of the exams. Plus their grade goal is only a C. So, they went ahead and did all of the self-reflection work because they just wanted to check in. How am I doing? I think I'm doing well, but let me just make sure. The discussions, though, they didn't have a lot of time for those all the time, so they earned 70%. That means that they did partial on several, or they skipped a few completely. It just depends on the term, but they did 70% of that work. And then on assignment 1, the assignment category, this is the full assignment category, they didn't do everything. They did 3 of 4, which actually put them at a B. If they had done B work and discussion, they were B here, but you could see they're at the C level in the discussion category, so they can't earn more than a C, even though this was a little better. And then for the checks, they earned 62 points, so they actually were at the B mark, but they picked a C and they didn't do the discussion work. So there is no benefit to them trying to bring this up, because the best they can earn based on their discussion participation is a C in this class. So if I go over here, I assigned them a C, and by fluke, it happens to correspond with the grade book. The C in the grade book actually ended up being the C that they earned, but that's a fluke. It's often incorrect. So that's how contract grading works. I recommend have to find it. I think it's in, just fixed it in my class. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up for you. Modules. I recommend that you use one of the checklists that I have made for you, and you can find that on the contract rating and feedback page. And you can either use a document link or a spreadsheet. I'm going to open both of them. So I have made this so that it works for all online classes. So I've given you the criteria based on the number of weeks that your course is. And then down here, you can just check off. You can just literally file, make a copy. You have to sign into a Google account first, which I'm not signed in, but if I were, these are signed in. Okay. So you'll file, make a copy. I'm just going to put the delete here because otherwise I get confused. I'm going to make copies. And then as you're going through the course and you complete things, you can just check them off that they've been completed. So if you're in the 4-week class, you know you don't have to go past that. And if you got partial credit, you're going to have to make, you could just make a note. Let's do here. Partial, if you wanted. Okay, and then you can just check off when you complete the assignments, each part. Or if you partially completed them or fully completed them, etc., etc. Here you're going to put in the number of points that you earned. You know, if you knew this was at 50, then you would know for sure you need to do better here depending on your goal. So that's one way that you can do this. I think I can throw it away right now. Trashed it. Okay. And then I've also, for people who prefer a spreadsheet, there's a spreadsheet option. And I set it up for the different lengths of courses so you know what you need to complete. And then again, you can just check them off as you go. Or you can make your own. So, okay, that is everything I wanted to share with you about contract grading. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always send me an email. We can always meet in Zoom or in person if you're local. Other than that, eat well, play fit.